Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Sense for Thoughts. I'm Mo, and today I'm going to be correcting one of my perfume sins. Yes, that's right. As you guys may have gathered by now, I am a little bit of a niche snob, or at least a recovering one. The ultimate perfume hipster virus really did take over earlier on in my journey, and I'm trying to revisit the things that I might have overlooked and thought I was too good for, to try and see if I missed out on any hidden gems. So the best example of me being a perfume hipster is, of course, my Louis Vuitton Imagination video, link in the description if you haven't caught that one already, where I basically spent over a year trying to avoid admitting that I love it and admitting that I need to go and buy it until I finally bought the thing. And today we will be visiting, as you figured out by the title, Labo. Now, Labo is a perfume brand that I have scoffed at as I sprayed my Frederic Malle, my Guerlain, and my Amouage, thinking, who are these guys charging so much money for stuff that looks and sounds so basic? To be fair to me, I don't blame myself too much, because Labo from New York, USA, do give off this kind of hipster try-hard vibe. Huffington Post, BuzzFeed, 50 ways to cook an egg type stuff. And they just give off this vibe, and it's just not who I am as a person whatsoever. They give off this millennial / Gen Z vibe of trying to be this cool hipster person from New York. And I just never gravitated towards that. It doesn't seem to me that a brand that backs up the prices with quality, because it just looks like a bunch of hipsters made it in New York and are charging you ludicrous prices, 200 plus for like 50 ml. If you get the special city exclusives, we will be talking about that. That's another reason why I dislike the brand. And I always was confused as to why it's so popular. And kind of just ignored it, bypassed it, didn't really think about it. And now I'm here to correct my mistakes. So what I did was, instead of buy the official sample discovery set, because it was very expensive, I managed to source, that discovery set has 17 perfumes, and it doesn't have eucalyptus, which is one of the ones I'm most excited about. So I didn't want to buy that. So instead I have sourced 22 samples from my lovely Facebook group. People have decanted some of their bottles. Some of them are official samples that I kind of semi-use, but that's more than enough for me to form a first impression. So there's 22 in total. Some of them are city exclusives as well, which is fantastic. So I will be going through the entire 22 samples. Some of them might be duplicates. I haven't had a look, so it might not end up being 22. Just a disclaimer. I think, like for example, I can see these two are like Bergamotti 22. Anyway, I'll be going through all of them on strip, and I'll be giving them full wears. It will take a couple of videos to go through all of them. That is the ultimate way to give the brand the respect that maybe I should have been given it, and see if there's any that I deem full bottle worthy to join my collection. So let's get started. Sample number one is going to be Patchouli 24. Now, I love Patchouli, okay? I've heard this one is perfumed by Natalie Lawson, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know who perfumes. I don't think they have an in-house perfume. I think they hire people to do it. I love Patchouli. I have a ton of Patchouli perfumes, so I have high hopes for this one. Let's give it a spray on paper and see how it goes. At the end of the video, I'll also be putting one on skin to see how that goes. I don't actually have a scent of the day. It's still early, about 12 o'clock, so maybe one of these will be my scent of the day. So let's start with Patchouli 24. My understanding is that 24 is how many ingredients are in this, which is cool, I guess. Maybe it's them kind of saying, look, we're not that basic after all. It's not as simple as Patchouli. There's 24 other things in here. Let's give it a try. Okay, I need to smell this again. This is very confusing. It smells great, okay, but I'm struggling to get any patchouli from this, I'll be honest with you guys. Very interesting. This smells like a leather, first and foremost, like a balsamic, smoky leather. Like a modern leather, not a birch tarry, quider-roosy kind of thing, more like a Tuscan leather, modern suede leather, you know, with synthetics rather than birch tar. It smells like a dark brown leather in like a cigar club. Not that I smoke or have been to a cigar club, that's just how I'm imagining it. Probably because it's very smoky and has a bit of caramelized sweetness. That's what's giving it that brown color rather than pure black. There is something sweet and chocolatey, maybe that is the patchouli, but I'm getting a much more leathery perfume, to be honest with you. Well, I'm already eating my words because this is brilliant, fantastic perfume. It's sweet, ambery, slightly chocolatey, but mainly this smoky, full-grained leather, like a dark brown leather on like a nice leather chair in a cigar kind of club or lounge where you're smoking a cigar. Very, very impressed with Patchouli 24, confused by the name, but let's not get hung up on the name. A lot of the times we get hung up on names and it kind of ruins the experience. Yeah, this is lovely. I would totally wear this. Whether it's £200 plus worth of juice, I'm not sure. And that might be a recurring theme throughout this video. Hopefully not. Hopefully one of these will convince me. So that was Patchouli 24. Let's move on. I love Labdanum. It sounds like I love everything, right? But I really do love Labdanum. I have Ambra Aurea and Lilion, my two favorite Labdanums. Not really looking for another Labdanum. I wonder if this will smell like Labdanum or it'll be another one of those where it's named something but doesn't really smell of it. Let's see which of the 18 ingredients I get as the main player in this one. Is it going to be Labdanum? Okay, it's not Labdanum. It's definitely not Labdanum so far. There is Labdanum there. It's a very romantic take on Labdanum. None of that smoky animalicness. Something citrus and fresh in this Labdanum. And then there is something very vanillic and sweet as well. It's giving me a lot of feminine vibes, to be honest with you guys. This Labdanum 18 is wonderful. It's beautiful, actually. It has a similar construction to Lilion, where it has this citrusy kind of opening top note, and then it does have a smoky-ish Labdanum with a bit of vanilla in the base. This is a lot more vanillic. Lilion has a bit more smoky leathers and patchouli in it. This is a bit more vanillic and ambery in the sweet kind. This is a very, very nice beginner's amber, along the lines of Grand Soir, in terms of how easy and mass appealing it is, not in terms of how it smells. Grand Soir is a lot more sweeter, a lot more benzoiny, a lot more vanillic. But yeah, another very nice smelling perfume. But another that hasn't moved me. If I was to give Patchouli 24, I'm going to get all the numbers mixed up. If I was to give the Patchouli 8 out of 10, this would be a 7 out of 10. It's still brilliant. Next up, we have Tonka 25. I'm not a huge Tonka person, to be honest. I'm intrigued as to how they will do it as the main protagonist. Although so far, the protagonists have not really added up. Let's give it a go and see how we get on. I have to say the sprays are very good. They're official ones anyway, in comparison to, you know, the classical Zerjovs and Nishane, those crappy ones. Okay, this one, the Tonka definitely plays a big, big role and is definitely the main protagonist of this perfume. Something fresh and green. It's almost like, you know how Tonka is in Fougères? This is like the Tonka, but it has been, let's just say, it's like the spine, the spinal cord, the skeleton of a fougère with a lot of the aromatics and lavender stripped away. This to me smells almost like an incomplete perfume. That's why I said it's the skeleton of a fougère. This is another one of those, like another 13, which the only one that I actually have a lot of experience with. where it's perfectly inoffensive, smells like just nice clean skin. A bit of sweetness, a bit of nuttiness, exactly as Tonka should smell like. It's beautiful, it's very high quality. All of these so far are very signature scent style. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you could signature scent them. They kind of go in every season, every occasion. It'll be absolutely fine. And Tonka 25 is no different. Very signature scent style, easygoing perfume. It's got a bit of warmth, a bit of nuttiness, but there's a bit of freshness, something, you know, giving a bit of zing. It just feels like the skeleton of a fougere, but it hasn't really committed. It smells like the men that I'd imagine work or are fans of Labo, you know. They're just like too cool to wear masculine stuff, you know. I'm hating on Labo again. I need to control myself. But yeah, this is wonderful. 7 out of 10. Let's move on. Since we're doing all of these ambery sweet kind of ones, let's go for Vanille 44. Now, I think this is a city exclusive. I'm pretty sure it is. So let's give it a go. So this commands an extra price. The city exclusives are a lot more expensive than the regular Labo, which is expensive enough for me. And also, they're only available online once a year for like October or something like that, or in September, October time. And then they disappear and you have to visit the cities. I think this one is Paris, if I'm not mistaken. Nice. Vanille 44. Very complex to have 44 things in there, I have to say. Wow, this is like a gourmand. If it is Paris, I hope I'm right. It smells like a pastry shop. Maybe I'm just selling myself the dream. I've been to Paris numerous times. I love Paris. The streets can be a little bit stinky, but when you go inside a pastry shop, this is what it smells like. This is so edible. It's buttery, it's vanillic, sweet. I can smell the crust of a pastry with icing sugar on it. This is beautiful. I love this one. Straight 8 out of 10 off of first impressions. But disclaimer, I like Sweetie Oud by Roger Moore. It smells very similar to Sweetie Oud, but Sweetie Oud is like a baklava, you know. He added all the spices and the bit of incense to make it super grand and aromatic and like oriental, spicy. This is like a nice almond croissant in a pastry in Paris. It's not a boulangerie bakery, it's more of a patisserie smell. It's different, okay? It doesn't have that bready, you know, rustic, buttery kind of thing. This has that, you know, piping kind of icing, icing and all the fancy work and layers and stuff like that. That's a pastry shop rather than a bakery. Sweetie Oud smells like a almond croissant in the king of one of the Middle Eastern countries' palace, and they're burning incense. And there's this, and he obviously, the chef, didn't just make an almond croissant. He had to add a bit of cardamom, a bit of spices to make it, you know, more oriental. Straight 8 out of 10. I believe you can get Sweetie Oud for the same price, and I would definitely go for that personally. Bit more adult, if you like. Very, very edible. Like to spray one of these, spray a bit of follow, and I don't need to have my morning coffee and pastry. I can just smell it. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for this one. Let's go for another 13. Now, another 13 has really pissed me off and confused me for a while. This one doesn't have a lot left. I'm going to drain the sample on skin. Is going to be my scent of the day. You might be thinking it's unfair to sample this one as scent of the day. Let me explain why and my experiences with another 13. So I fell in love with another 13 on first sniff when I smelt it in a Selfridges department store in the UK. And it was in a day where I had sampled a ton of really heavy stuff. We're talking about MFK Oud Satin Mood Extrait. I literally had that on skin. And then I had this on the other side. I had Gentle Fruity Silver like up my arm as well. All of these very strong stuff. And I put this on, and somehow I kept on getting whiffs of this over these other super beast mode perfumes. And it smelled of this musky, sweet pear and skin and magazine paper. And I could smell it for what it was fully. So I was ready to go back, like turn the car around and go and buy a bottle immediately. Luckily, my inner cheapskate did not allow that to happen, right? So what I did was I was like, oh, I'll go and find one online for cheaper. And I didn't, and then I kind of forgot about it. Then I bought a sample. I sprayed it on, could not smell a thing. Put the sample in the bin. I bought a 10ml decant from a reputable decant website here in the UK. And I'm pretty sure I still have that somewhere in the house, and I wore that numerous times, completely nose blind, did not get a single whiff all day. And it really frustrated me because I really want that experience that I had when I first smelt it. So this is a sample that obviously barely got anything in, but we'll get a few sprays. I'm going to stick this on skin as my scent of the day. And I'm hoping that for the first time in over a year, I can smell this one again. Because if I do recall, I really loved it. It was a love at first sniff. So let's give it a go. I've got no perfume on today. So just making sure. 2 sprays here, and then I'm just going to drain the sample on my neck as well. There we go. And that is a sample done. And I've got it on my arm as well. So let's do another 13. Okay, I can smell it more than normal, which is good, but it's not exactly the same as before. So what does another 13 smell like when I can smell it? I get that glossy magazine paper. I get a little bit of a musky pear with a hint of sweetness, just a hint of sweetness. It's a very peculiar smell. I much prefer it to Ganymede, to be honest with you guys, despise that one. But I do think there's one that I prefer, and it's one that came before another 13, before Ganymede, before Bois Imperial, before this whole metallic musk robot skin scent kind of thing happened. And it is Nasomatto Silver Musk from 2008 by Alessandro Gualtieri. Once again, he's ahead of his time, and there's no way in hell these guys did not look up to him and think, let's do something similar to Silver Musk. Silver Musk is definitely inspired those perfumes. And because it's the original, because it's a Gualtieri, I'm just more inclined to love that one. Yes, it's 30ml, but I can smell that all day. It's potent, and it's a cute bottle as well. And I feel just better at giving my money to Alessandro to support his independent perfumery. So I'm not getting much pear today, just a hint. It's the same pear that's in California Dream, and if you get it in Dior Homme Intense, it's similar to that musk, mallow, ambretti thing. But this one smells like a really glossy magazine paper. I'm not blown away, but I'm going to wear it. Here's what I'll do. I'll film a little outro to talk about my experience wearing this the whole day. I appreciate I had a tiny amount, so maybe you guys who wear it, another 13, probably lather like 10 full sprays on there. But maybe I'll top it up with my decant as well. And I'll let you guys know what it was like in the dry down and what my final thoughts are about another 13. So that was me sampling the first 5 of my 20 plus Labo samples. So far, they've all been very nice, but I feel like they're not really justifying that price point. But let's test them out. Let's test another 13 out, and we'll see how we get on. I'll see you guys in the evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm back, and just a quick update on how the another 13 experience was. So I put on another 13 this morning as I sampled these Labos for the first time. I have to be honest, I wish I wore another perfume. But anyway, that aside, let's talk about my experience. So luckily for me, this one I was not anosmic to. I think maybe it's because it was such a tiny sample and it was really old that it must have been super concentrated and has oxidized a lot. And it was actually very, very visible and present throughout the day. It's still very strong right now. A few hours later, I have to say kudos to the perfumer. for absolutely nailing the brief, and that brief being that magazine paper smell, because obviously Another 13 is made for another, and capital O, other, which is a magazine. So it was meant to kind of smell like that, and they really did nail it. As for my enjoyment, I wouldn't say I really loved it, to be honest with you guys. It was present. I was not anosmic to it. I'm still skeptical about getting a new one and wonder if I'd be anosmic to those if they're not really, really old and in bad shape effectively and super concentrated. But to me, what it smelled like all day was pretty much consistent. There was zero movement whatsoever. It was the same from hour 1 till now, many, many hours later into the evening. It smelled like, if I'm just to move it away from that magazine, glossy magazine paper kind of smell, it smells like a very light floral, musky perfume, like a perfumed cream, like a moisturizer cream, a perfumed cream. But there is a chemically undertone, which is the cream chemicals. If you guys have used a perfumed moisturizer, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what it smells like. I understand the appeal, but for me, it's quite boring. For me, it's not that exciting. I don't think it's attractive smell, personally, on my skin at least, from today's experience. And I think for that kind of vibe, I much prefer Silver Masparinato. Whilst we're here, actually the papers are still here from sampling earlier this morning. Let's go through them one last time, just very quickly. So this is Vanilla 44. Is it Vanille 44? I'm just assuming. The Paris exclusive. It pretty much smells exactly the same as this morning, but very, very faint. It's lovely. It's delicious. But trust me, sweet yaourt is where it's at. Okay, and I don't even like gourmands, but that one is like this, but better. So that's the Vanille 44. Next up, I'm not sure which these are. I haven't labeled them. Okay, this is the Patchouli one. It smells like a birchy leather, a suede leather with a hint of sweetness and chocolatiness from the patchouli, exactly the same. These do not move at all. There is zero transitions, which I guess is a good thing for that signature scent kind of thing. It smells great, but I think there's more interesting leathers out there with a lot more going on. But this is a very signature scent kind of leather. I prefer this to Clean Suede by Eldo, but now that I think about it, they're not too different. They are a bit different, to be fair. That one is a lot more saffron. But they both show that lack of commitment to the leather, which is what is lacking in both. But I would much rather wear a Patchouli 24. So that's that one. This one smells like nothing. This is an empty piece of paper. Oh my god. Did I drop one? No. This one smells like nothing. This is Labdanum 18. Well, Labdanum 18 is a sure disappointment. It's literally evaporated off this piece of paper. It's only been like 8 hours. Usually it lasts longer on paper than on skin. So that says it all really about longevity. I'm going to look this up to see if people have longevity issues with Labdanum 18, but it's this paper literally. I could spray another perfume on it. It smells brand new and it's not a mistake. Last but not least, Tonka 25. Okay, this one is still there. It's probably the strongest out of all of them, except Another 13 on skin. Is just about as strong as this. It still has that acidic thing. Has that tonka, still has that sweet citric thing. There's something addictive about this, I can't stop smelling it. Somehow, on the dry down, Tonka 25 is my favourite. There's something addictive about it. It has an addictive quality. This one is super intriguing. I'm definitely going to wear it. So that was part 1 of my sampling Labo. So far, I would say it's a good start. They were all very nice, okay? I would have no problem wearing any of them. Probably Another 13 is quite boring to me. But I'm not blown away at the moment. I definitely want to wear Tonka on skin. That one is the most interesting out of the ones that I've tried. Vanille 44, honestly, I love it, but the price and the fact that there's better alternatives is quite off-putting. But I'll be back very, very soon. Plenty more Labo samples to go through, and we'll really get a vibe for this brand. We'll see if we have better luck in episode 2 of finding a full bottle-worthy Labo for me. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.